We'll start the class with our prayers and 3 ohms. Sahana bhavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavaditamastu ma viddhishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome to the last session of Tattva Bodha, a beautiful text for anybody who wants to get into the field of spirituality, especially in the Indian Vedic way. There are many people who study scriptures directly, like the Gita, Bhagavad Gita, but without an understanding of Tattva Bodha, this particular text, one cannot get the benefit of that study of the Gita. So Shankaracharya, who is a great teacher, wrote texts like Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha for beginners who want to enter the field. Once you have the basics clear, then you can study any text and get the benefits. Quick summary, 5 chapters in this text. The 5 sections are, first section, the qualifications of a student. The second is the inquiry into the individual jiva, that means who am I, the soul, which we dealt with elaborately. The third is the inquiry into the total, which is called as Ishvara or God or whatever you may call it. This is the way to inquire about the world. You inquire about me, who am I in this world? You inquire about what the whole world is all about. Then the teacher says that there is something which you don't know about this world, and that is there is oneness in this entire universe. This is the goal which all of us have to reach. This is the goal of the study of spirituality. What is the oneness which they want us to see? What is the new vision which we are supposed to get out of our study? And that is what was discussed in the last class from verse number 27 to 31. That was the 4th topic. Today we are going to discuss the last section, the last topic, verse number 32 to 38. What is the benefit I get out of this knowledge? One of the participants also asked the same question at the end of last session. What do I get by studying this text? What is the practical benefit? This is what we are going to understand today. So with this introduction, I want to just summarize this particular chart, because this chart is very useful chart to understand today's talk. This entire universe is coming out of a supreme consciousness principle, which is given a symbol Om. Now, this symbol is our goal. where we want to reach, and this is where our aim of study is all about. Then we try to understand, who am I? When we try to understand who am I, the first thing we should know about us is that I have some impressions in my mind which are called as vasana, or which is called as nature. This is my nature. My nature means what? It is impressions in my mind. These impressions are called as vasanas in Sanskrit, and they are not visible. They are not visible to the human eye. They are not visible to the human mind. But as you learn about the supreme consciousness principle, you will start understanding a little bit about these vasanas, these impressions which we have. This is the topic of vasanas, what we are going to study today. Today's topic is based on this vasanas. Then we should also understand that that Om principle, that pure consciousness principle, am operating through three instruments. And the three instruments are the physical body, the mind, and the intellect. All three instruments together are called as pramanam in Sanskrit. So the consciousness principle, I can exist without the body, mind, and intellect, as I can experience in my sleep. So I am eternal, supreme, spiritual being. I come into the waking state and I use these three instruments. Why do I come into the waking state? Is because of the impressions in the mind, which are called as vasanas. Then when I'm operating the instruments, I become an ego principle called as pramata. Pramata means an experiencer, who is a doer of action and who is also enjoying the results of action, which is in short called as perceiver of the objects of the universe, feeler of the objects of the feeler of the emotions in the mind, thinker of the thoughts in the mind. The perceiver, feeler, and thinker put together is called as the doer or enjoyer, or in Sanskrit it is called as pramata, experiencer. Pramanam means experiencing instrument. And the last one is objects, emotions, and thoughts. They are in the external world and they are called as prameyam. All the three put together is what we experience through our mind. The perceived objects, the felt emotions, and the thoughts which I have been thinking. This entire principle from body, mind, intellect, perceiver, feeler, thinker, objects, emotions, and thoughts, they are called as vyavaharikam, as mentioned in the left side of the chart. Vyavaharikam means they are transactional, empirical reality. What is Om, my supreme consciousness, called? That is called as the absolute reality. So there is two realities which I am talking about. One, in which I don't use my body, mind, and intellect. I alone am. That is called as Om. And when I use the body, mind, and intellect, then I come down from the level of absolute to the relative reality. When I come to the relative reality, I do actions and I enjoy the results of actions. The result of actions are of two types: joy and sorrow, sukham and dukkham. So understanding this Om chart is one of the benefits of this particular study, because this gives me a new vision of this life. So if you have any questions at any point of time on this Om chart, you can send me an email. I can even talk to you on the to explain to you further. But the result of Tattva Bodha study, the first basic understanding is this Om chart. So with this small introduction and the Om chart, we will enter the fifth topic, which is the main topic for today, and that is man of realization. A man of realization means a person who has understood his Atma, the core in his personality. A person who has understood that he is the spiritual being. He is called as jeevan mukta in Sanskrit. Jeevan mukta means freed from the feeling of a jiva, feeling of living in this world and enjoying the sorrow and the pain and joys in the world. That means he is free from dukkha. A person who knows the Atma, he knows or she knows that she has never got any dukkham in reality. Dukkham or sorrow is experienced, as I said in the last class, that there are in this world there is something called as existent, which is always there, which is the Atma principle. It never decays, it never dies, it never is born. I am that pure spiritual being. What do I experience in life? That is called as an appearance. It's an appearance, it comes and goes. Not only between yesterday it has come and gone, it comes and goes in every birth. And all the births, there is no change in me. I am the spiritual witnessing consciousness principle. And in this whole universe, there is only one witness, which is there in every body. In Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 13, the Lord says there that in every body I am there. Kshetram chapimam vidhi. Kshetrajña means I am the witnessing principle. I am the experiencer. The experiencer in you or me or anybody is the same. It's one spiritual being. This is our goal. So here in this topic, we are going to learn what happens to a person who has realized his true self. As usual, I will go through the verses first and then go a little bit deeper into some of the aspects of these verses so that we can understand what is the gist of all these verses. The first portion of this topic 5 is what is the benefit of this knowledge. And the second one talks about what is the law of karma, what is the law of action. So the first two verses talks about the benefit. The 35th verse says that by the words of the teachings of the of Vedanta, what we see is the knowledge is imparted by the teacher, the Sadguru, in whom the knowledge of Brahman or the spiritual being of all beings is born. They are the jeevan muktas. That means A man of realization is free from sorrow while living. Mukta means freedom. Jeevan means the individuality. So the person who has got to know that he is Atma, then what happens to him is he knows that the ego has an appearance and the ego has a disappearance. It appears in the waking state and the ego disappears in the sleep state. But in both the states, I am there as the witnessing principle. In the sleep state, I know that there is no world. In the sleep state. For me, you may say the world exists for others, but we are talking about the individual here who is trying to realize his own self, his own core self. So a teacher says that the knowledge of this spiritual being is there in a realized master. And who is realized master? The person, normally a person has a belief that I am the body, I am a man, I am a woman, I am a father, I am a brother, I am a sister, I am a mother. These are all the beliefs which we have. These are the notions in our mind that I am so and so. And because of this knowledge of Atma, he realizes, he understands that he is not the body. Because Tattva Bodha is teaching us that our core nature is consciousness. We are conscious beings, we are existent, and our real nature is of happiness. Once I am able to separate this spirit in me from the matter principle, which is the body, sense organs, mind, and the universe, I can boldly say, I am not the body, I am not the mind, but I am the unattached existence. That means Sat. Chit means consciousness. Bliss means Ananda. Sat Chit Ananda. In verse number 9, Atma was defined as Sat Chit Ananda. To beginners, these three words may sound very strange, very abstract, but when we study the other texts, our knowledge of this principle becomes deeper in our consciousness. Right now, it may appear something abstract which I don't even understand. Don't worry about this. This is the beginning of our spiritual study. As we study this further and further, and we start the meditation exercises, this will become very clear. We are not the only first ones to experiment this in life. Before us, there have been millions of people across different ages. Thousands of years ago, Shankaracharya lived. And after that, so many people have got the benefit of this knowledge and they have realized their true nature. Therefore, I have tremendous faith that what the scriptures are teaching is the truth. The indweller of all, whether you are a Christian, Muslim, any religion, the self in us is only one. It is the same in all the human beings. It is formless awareness. So a person who is liberated has this knowledge that I am this pure consciousness principle, awareness principle. Hence, he is called as a mukta purusha. Mukta means he is free from the identification with the body. This entire process of study is only teaching us how I should look at this body, how I should look at this mind, how I should look at the universe objectively. Today, without this knowledge, I look at this body as a subject. But slowly, I learn to differentiate between the subject, Atma, and the object, the body. Okay, so that in short tells about jeevan, mukti, or a person who has the knowledge and who disidentifies with the instruments as himself. Then, destruction of karma. This is the verse which says, by immediate knowledge that I am that Atma or Brahman. Brahman means the totality. Atma means the individual soul. By the immediate knowledge, that means right now I get the knowledge that I and the total universe, in the total universe, there is something common. That common principle is Atma, is consciousness. By knowing this principle, while listening itself, one can become free from the bondage of actions. All karmas, all actions which I have done one can be free from that actions and can own up the Atma. How does this happen in real life? He explains it further. The law of karma, before that, we'll see what are the types of knowledge which exist. Normally, what we say as knowledge, there are two types of knowledge. One is called as a knowledge of an object. The second type of knowledge is the knowledge of the subject. The extreme right portion, the self-knowledge, deals with the knowledge of the subject. When we discuss understand the object of the knowledge of objects in the universe, there are some objects which are not directly seen by us. They are called as paroksha, means these objects are somewhere else, not in front of me. For example, Himalayas, it's very far away from me. I get a knowledge of the Himalayas or knowledge of London or knowledge of America, things happening there. This is called as indirect knowledge. Indirect knowledge means it is paroksha jnanam. It is not direct knowledge. When the object is right in front of my eyes, I go to America, I go to London, I go to the Himalayas, then it becomes a direct experience. This direct experience is called as pratyaksha jnanam. That means my eyes can perceive the objects or the situation or the country. That is called as a direct knowledge. So book knowledge or indirect knowledge is one, and direct knowledge of the object is another type. Now let us understand what is the knowledge of the self. This knowledge of the self is called as subjective knowledge. It is called as aparoksha jnanam. Paroksha we have seen, which is indirect knowledge. Aparoksha means not indirect but direct knowledge, but it is not the direct knowledge of an object, but it is the direct knowledge of me, the self. So when it comes to me, the self, that means I'm talking about the knowledge of me, the consciousness principle. Here we can neither say it is proximate, it is near me, or it is far away from me. The only thing which we can say, it is me. Neither far, neither near. The only thing we can say is this knowledge belongs to me, the consciousness principle. So we should always remember that here we are in this entire text, we have been discussing, it is the knowledge of me, the consciousness principle, the subject of this entire experiences which I have. Drida nishchaya rupam. That means it is this knowledge if I get this knowledge, it becomes a firm knowledge about me. Knowledge in terms of my own conviction, dridam. Dridam means doubtless knowledge. And this knowledge is what helps me to become free from sorrow. I become aware that body is an object of awareness. Mind is an object of awareness. The sense organs are object of awareness. Through the sense organs, I perceive the world. Therefore, world is also an object of awareness. So the cause of this whole universe, we can say, is the awareness principle. The whole world is appearing in the awareness principle, and the whole world is resolving in the awareness principle. This is a very important discovery in the study of Tattva Bodha. Now, we will discuss the law of karma. I will go through the verses. I will also explain to you what are these words which we are talking about. As we go by towards the end of the class, you will understand what are the terms being used here. So the karmas are of three kinds. One is called as agami. The second is called as sanchita. Third one is called as prarabdha. Okay? These are terms used to describe what are the types of the results of action. I will explain to you further as we go ahead. What do you mean by action and what do you mean by result of action? At the moment, we just understand there are three types of the results of action. The first one is called as agami. That means the result of action, which is good or bad, which is performed by the body of a realized soul after the knowledge, dawn of knowledge, is known as agami. This is you can also extend this later on. I will explain to you how you can extend this. So the first thing we should understand is there is some actions which we do after realization, and those are called as agami. The second one, this is very important. This is called as sanchita. Sanchita means the result of actions which are performed in all our previous births. That means Vedas tell us that this is not the first time we are born into this world. Vedas are telling us, and many religions believe in rebirth. So we have had several births. In all those births, we have done actions, and the result of those actions are in a seed form. The seed form of those actions which have to give us the results, they are called as sanchita. So sanchita is not the actions, but it is a result of action. Suppose I have done something very, very good in this birth. I've helped so many people during the coronavirus time. I may not, these benefits which I get out of this action of mine, I may not get the benefit immediately in this birth. I may get some of the results, I may get this birth, some of the result of actions I may get in the next birth. Because I have helped somebody. I may have helped somebody on many fronts. I may have done very good actions, meritorious actions. But all the results I may not be able to enjoy in this birth because my life is short. So we understand sanchita means all the results of action which is in my name, in my account, which I have to enjoy or suffer in several births. This is my, you can say, my fixed deposit, which I have, all the total money which I have in a deposit form. What is prarabdha karma? Prarabdha karma is having given birth to this body, that means having taken birth in this body, the actions which give result in this world in the form of happiness and sorrow, and that is called as prarabdha. That means if I have a deposit of $100 in my account of all the results of actions in my name, out of those $100, for in this birth, I may take a part of that and then I may use it to get joy and sorrow. That part which is taken up from the sanchita is called as prarabdha. And these result of actions can only be destroyed by either enjoying or suffering. Another way it can be destroyed, it is called as by knowledge. That we will discuss separately, how that is done. But generally speaking, we have to enjoy the fruits of actions. That means right from birth to death, all the time I am performing actions. Since morning to night, morning to night, morning to night, every day I perform. The attitude by which I perform the action is extremely important. And I get, out of the actions, I get either I feel happy or I feel sad after the action is over. Now this gets on added up every day. And then this is that. So this is the second type. That means from a total deposit of sanchita, the total 100, I take out a part and use it in this birth, which is called as prarabdha. Then the how is sanchita destroyed? Sanchita is destroyed by knowledge that I am that Atma or Brahman. The moment I get this knowledge, I reinforce that knowledge again and again. What happens is that I am able to burn all the past actions which are in my account. What happens is that the sanchita is burnt. It becomes like a roasted seed which cannot germinate. Agami karma is also destroyed by knowledge, and therefore there is a description, Padma Patra Vibhambasa. Vyambasa, Patra Patra means it's like a lotus leaf. If you go to a pond and see a lotus, and like a lotus, which is a leaf which is not affected by the water, this man is like that. He can walk in this universe. He can face any situation in life, and therefore be free from the effects of those actions, which he does. By discussing these three principles, what we understand is the knower of the self, the knower of the Atma, he is the one who crosses samsara. He is the one who crosses this sorrow. He goes beyond sorrow. Sorrow is dissolved in Atma. It is not solved, it is dissolved. There is a difference in that. He attains the supreme bliss here itself while living. That means after getting this knowledge of pure consciousness as me, myself, the first benefit is I become free from sorrow. Now, many of you may say, I have gone through the Tattva Bodha text, but I have not got freedom so far. Why? There are some obstacles in our mind which needs to be removed. As we study further, we will understand what are those obstacles and how we can remove them. The wise man at the time of gaining the knowledge itself is liberated. He's being freed from all the results of action. So assert the Smritis also. Smriti means Bhagavad Gita and other texts which are written by human. So in this topic, what we are saying is that a person who gets the knowledge, he gets liberated from sorrow. That is in gist what we have discussed. Through the law of karma, we have discussed how a person becomes free. I will try to explain the same topic a little bit deeper by going through additional slides. And then later on, I will open up for discussions. You can ask your questions. The law of karma has got a lot of questions. People raise a lot of questions on the law of karma initially, but once it is understood a little bit at a deeper level, every one of us will accept this law of karma, and they will accept it as a truth in this universe. Who gets liberated? That's one of the questions of many students. Is it Atma which gets liberated? No. Atma is ever liberated. It is always free. Is the body liberated? No, because body is inert. Body doesn't have any, cannot have any knowledge or of the Atma or anything. It's not the body. And body is never liberated because it is burnt. It is inert. It is like a wall. Without the consciousness principle reflecting in the body is inert. It is made up of 5 elements. So who gets liberated is the individual who is in this body. The one who thinks that he is the body. That reflected consciousness is the jiva. Atma is there. That reflection of Atma is in the mind. That reflection, when it gets attached to the mind, it thinks that I am the mind. When that reflection, when it identifies with the body, it thinks that it is the body. This is the problem. This ego I is the one who gets the knowledge that it is not this body, it is not this mind, and this knowledge sets the ego free. The ego discovers that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am the Atma. So this is the first aspect which I wanted to clarify. And what is the final knowledge the ego gets? I am always liberated. I was liberated yesterday, I am liberated now, I will be liberated tomorrow. Because liberation is my nature. How? Exactly like I'm in sleep. I'm always liberated from the body, from the mind, from the universe. But how come I didn't know this? That I am of that nature of consciousness, of pure existence. Because we never thought about it. We always thought that the world is real, body is real, mind is real. Now the teacher comes and says, wake up. Wake up from this waking world. Wake up to your own nature and realize that that is your real self. The real self is the one without the body. The real self is the one without the mind. The real self is one without the sense organs, and the real self is the one which is without the universe, as the sense organs perceive it. The sense organs are perceiving the universe during the waking state. They close up in the sleep state. The sense organs, they get into unmanifest condition and remain in Atma. That Atma is what I have understood as my nature, is my real intrinsic nature, not this body, not this mind, which I experience in my waking state. Then The notion before knowledge is I am the man or a woman or mother. I am the impure mind. I have anger, I have jealousy, I have desires, I have so many problems with my mind. I can't even tell you about them. That is the one of a jiva, the notion before knowledge. After knowledge, what happens? I am the formless awareness consciousness. I am ever free. This is a knowledge. It comes initially by just listening. But listening itself is not enough. The second step is called as contemplation or meditation. I have to think about this awareness principle in my own mind and make it my own reality. I have to accept that I am that pure consciousness, free from the body. That takes time because that means change in my vision, change in my thinking process, change in my thinking process, which I have had from several births, from several years. So I need, this knowledge needs to be first assimilated. First, you have to hear it. Then that is called as shravanam. What happens, what is the benefit of shravanam? It is called as ignorance removal. I remove my ignorance about Atma. Then the second step in the study is contemplation. Contemplation is for what? It is to remove the doubts. Samshaya nivritti. That means I remove the doubts about me being the body. And then nididhyasana means finally the meditation process by which I remove the notions, wrong notions from my subconscious mind. The moment I clean up my entire mind in this threefold way, first by shravanam, listening, second by contemplating in my own mind, churning my mind. Last week we discussed what is churning of the mind. The two logs of wood, you get the fire. Remember that example. So by churning the thoughts of Atma in my own mind, I clear the doubts. Slowly the doubts will get cleared. And then the third step of study is meditation. In meditation, I remove the wrong notion. Deliberately bring a thought and say to yourself, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I am Atma. That is what is done in meditation. Then what is bondage? What is freedom? I am the body or mind or the ego. That notion in the mind is called as bondage. And it is always in time. That means it is always in the waking state. We feel that we are bound, we are limited. I am bound to this body. I feel limited. I feel not fulfilled in life. I feel some sort of inadequacy in me. That is what is called as bondage. These are all only thoughts in the mind. And the scriptures teach us how to drop these thoughts, how to be happy in life. And when that happens, it is called as freedom. It comes because the scriptures and the Guru teaches us step by step, step by step. If you come to the next class in Atma Bodha, you will start seeing what is the step-by-step process of owning this Atma. Atma Bodha is a text, 68 verses. Almost every verse has got an example. So that Shankaracharya is almost teaching us like little kids with examples. How to look at yourself. Look at yourself properly. Correct your vision of yourself. Step by step, the scriptures teach us and tell us we are the consciousness principle, and what we have is an instrument called as the body, mind, and intellect. use the body, mind, intellect. This is given to us by God. This is what is a gift. Body is glorious. Gift. It is a gift from the 5 elements. And what is, who is me? I am also glorious. So always keep thinking, the body is glorious because it helps me to realize who I am. And I am glorious. I am not a miserable human being, suffering. We cannot remove the suffering, but in our own mind, we can try to make that suffering less impacted in our mind. That is the advantage of this study. We are never connected with the body and mind. That is what the scriptures tell us. As pure consciousness, we are always independent principle. We can exist all by ourselves as Atma. I don't die. I, as consciousness principle, has no death. That is changeless, which is called as nirvikaraha. I'm ever free. Ever free means I'm mukta. I am always free. This is what the scriptures are teaching about me, myself. To understand action a little bit deeper, action, karma means action. That's a dictionary meaning. In technical term, it is called as the law of karma. Whenever karma is used, it is a unique term, as a technical term used in the Vedas, in the scriptures. Every action a person does will produce 2 types of results, called as the result of action or karma phalam. One result is called as drishta phalam. Drishta means visible. What I can see with my eyes at the end of action. The second one is called as adrishta phalam. That means invisible. Motive which produces the proportional result. The motive behind the action and which gives me the result, that is the invisible result. It gives, this is say a motive can be positive, it can be negative. Therefore, the unseen result can be positive, it can be negative. The positive unseen result is called as punyam. That means I have done some very good work in my previous birth or in this birth. I don't get the results immediately. I have worked selflessly. I have taught yoga to hundreds of people. Selfless work. Will I get all the results of that action in this birth? No. I may not get it. But the results will come according to the law of action. Law of action is a law in this universe. It is the law by which the Lord or the controller of the universe controls this entire universe. There's a very deep significance behind this law. As we go deeper and deeper and understand the significance of Atma, we will ourselves in our own mind start understanding what is this punyam, what is this papam, what is this result of action? Why do I have negative tendencies? Why do I have positive tendencies? All this will be answered. So it depends on our motive, intention. For every action we do, we gather punyam or papa. This is adrishta phalam, unseen result. This is what is the scope of the 3 karma phalams, which we discussed earlier. Sanchita, Agami, and Prarabdha. The visible results we can know immediately. For example, I buy a fan, or buy a AC, I feel good, I feel very comfortable. This is the result of an action. And we are not talking about the results of these actions, because these are actions which we enjoy. It gives a phalam immediately. For example, I run, I reduce my weight, I lose 5 kilos. That is an immediate result. These are all the actions we are talking about actions which are where we can see immediate results. There are some actions like selfless actions which give us results. I go to an old age home and help them. There are many people who do that. Why some people do it? Why some people don't? The answer lies in the result of actions. A little bit more deeper, the types of karma phalams, which we discussed earlier. Karma or the action produce merit. Merit is called as punyam, and demerit, which is called as papam, which are both the seeds of birth. They are the seed for the law of, they work according to the law of cause and effect. The cause is an action, the result is an effect of action. The result of actions we have discussed earlier. Sanchita means it is the total impressions in the mind of the individual. I gave an example of a deposit. Suppose you say the total impressions are about $100. Then prarabdha means some of the seeds, they germinate and give fruit in this birth. Coconut tree may take 15 years to give birth, to give a result. You sow a seed, after 10, 15 years, you get a coconut. Rubber also similarly. But a tomato or a bean seed or a coriander seed, within 1 week or 2 weeks, you will start getting the benefit. Similarly, our seeds which we sow of selfless actions, which gives us comfort in life, which gives us happiness in life, these are all what is called as prarabdha, which is being fructified in this birth. So out of the $100, $30 is getting matured from the deposit, which is called as prarabdha. And that matured deposit, I spend it. I take that money, I spend it. That punyam and papam, throughout my 80 years of life, I spend that punyam and papam, and I get joy and sorrow in this universe. This is universal phenomena. It is not in Africa, it's different, in China it's different, in Japan it is different, in America it is different. No, the law of karma is universal according to the Vedas. So that is what is called as prarabdha. While in this birth, I earn extra $10 by way of punyam. That extra $10, I can't exhaust it in this birth. Extra, which I have done some service, which I was explaining. This $10, I added to the old account, and that gets added to become the future sanchita. So agami means what? Impressions which are added in this birth, which is carried forward to the sanchita. That means from the $100, I reduce the 30 which I have spent in this birth, called as prarabdha. I add $10 of good work done in this birth. Then what happens is 100 minus 30 plus 10 becomes 80. This 80 is my new sanchita. This is what happens when I get a new body. Again, my result of actions are coming on a day-to-day basis. This is this is how generally we can understand the law of cause and effect. Another way to express this is by I gave you an example of the deposit situation. In the Shastras, they give this example. They say like a bow and arrow. Arrow is short, and the arrow which is short is called as the prarabdha karma. The arrow which is lying in the quiver is called as sanchita. This arrow which is already short, I cannot change this. The results are materializing in this birth. As what? As experience, daily experiences of good and bad experiences on a daily basis. Good and bad experiences are nothing but good and bad thoughts which rise in my mind. That's all. Those thoughts which rise in my mind on a daily basis, when as a Atma, as a Sakshi, when I experience those thoughts, that is called as an experience. And then the new impressions which are gathered in this birth, they get added to the cure. That means in this birth, I add some more new impressions, which if it is not fructified in this birth, it gets added to the old addition of Sanchita. This is how they say that in this life, if the arrow is already shot, that means my life has begun, I will experience those joys and sorrows. This gives us a doubt. Is my life governed entirely by this old karma phalams? Or do I have a choice? It gives us a question in our mind. Is my life totally governed, or is it that I have a choice? By knowledge, conviction that I am pure awareness, unattached to the body, mind and sense organs, I can destroy this karmas. By having this freedom, I know that I am the pure consciousness. I can go beyond all sorrow, accept it. I live with the knowledge I am free throughout the life. But before that, let me answer this question. Is life governed by destiny, fate, or do I have a free will? The Shastra says the past I can't be corrected. It is the result of remote past, not seen, invisible. I have done some actions in the past. My destiny, my fate is I have to fulfill those punya papams in this birth. What the scriptures tell us is punyam and papam is adrishtam, is unseen. It comes in life as what? As situations in life. Every day we come across new situations. Situations, when they come, we take it as what is a result of our old actions. It gives us an explanation why I'm born in this particular family with this parents, why I'm born rich with $5 billion, why I'm born poor, why am I born in Africa, why I'm born in Singapore, why I'm not born in America, why I have a healthy body, why I don't have a healthy body, why I am ignorant, why I have knowledge, why I'm getting this spiritual knowledge at this point of time, not before. Why suddenly I'm getting this knowledge now? All this is unseen benefits. Unseen. We don't know. There is no answer to these questions. That is why we say they're all karma. They're all as per something which is not seen, but I can experience it. Do I have any choice over this fate or destiny? The scriptures tell us, yes, you have a choice. Bhagavad Gita clearly explains this particular phenomena of self-effort. They say that the law of karma is applicable only to give us situations in life. How I face this situation is depending on my free will. I have to put my self-effort and face the situation boldly, and I have to find proper solutions and come out of those. That is the self-effort. We have three Shaktis in us. We have Jnana Shakti, means I have knowledge, I can use knowledge. I have desire, I can improve myself. I can go to a higher level. So the free will is extremely important for us to understand that I have a free will, I can rise out of these problems, situations, and I can make my life beautiful. I may not be able to solve all the problems. Is there any benefit of going to temples? Is there any benefit of doing parihara? Is there any benefit of doing, breaking coconuts in the temple? Or yes, they all have benefits, but we cannot change all our prarabdha. Maybe there are some actions which we do, religious actions which we do, give us benefits immediately, but they cannot wipe out the entire karma phalams in my account. So the present you, the past you cannot be corrected. The present you is the future you. The present you can be corrected. Take charge of life. How I deal with the situation is my free will. This is what Bhagavad Gita, the core of Bhagavad Gita teaches us this principle of free will. It tells Arjuna, Arjuna is not just a character in the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is like each one of us, facing the situations, facing everyday problems in life. Use the self-effort, use the free will, and find out how best I can act. And they say that the spiritual study helps us to clear the mind, face the situations, because the clutter, once it is removed from my mind, I can act well. I can act in excellent fashion. Every action of mine comes out so beautifully that people are amazed. How come there is so much dexterity in you? How come you have so much of energy? Because I have the knowledge. I can change the situations. My free will is there. And I know I am the Atma principle. I am not the mind, but I know I have to act in this birth. I have no choice over action. Action I have to do. How I do the action is determined by the free will. It is determined by the knowledge in the mind. Therefore, the knowledge of Atma, with the knowledge of Atma, I don't dwell on the past. I don't dwell on the future anxiety. I don't dwell on the past sorrows. Oh, this happened, this happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So and so is still not looking at me. They are not happy. They are still, all those things we can just get rid of it by following one principle. I cannot change my past. I can't change my present. If I change my present, my future is already changed. Therefore, I must act in today's world with the best of my ability. I do my duty, and then I come out of this joy. I come out of the sorrows in life. I know how to face life. This is the result of the spiritual science. This is the result of spiritual study. It teaches us how to understand life by using the law of karma principle. So that is a side topic on the law of karma. And the benefits, as I told you, is that who am I is very clear. I am the pure consciousness principle. Where do I come from? I come from the same consciousness principle, because that is the adhishthanam, that is the substratum, that is the support, not only for this body, it is the support for the entire universe. There is one principle. We have to have total faith in that. As much faith as we have in God, we have to have that God is not only with form, but God is also without form. Without form is what is called as pure consciousness. So this body, I have taken birth in this body, but I have come from that consciousness principle. As jivas, as souls, we rest on that consciousness principle. And where do I go after this, when I leave this body? I go back to the same pure consciousness. That is my hope. Why I am born? I am born to realize this pure self. This gives us the entire study of who am I. If this is understood, then this is a great benefit in life, because I will not have many clutter in my head all the time, because I know I am a spiritual being in the core of my personality. What I body experiences, mind experiences, I cannot change. I put my effort to make it the best I can. The other benefit is this insecurity goes away. The fear goes away. And the fear and the insecurity goes away in life, then I become immortal. I'm not a mortal body, I am immortal spiritual being. That is a great benefit. I learn how I can claim to be that immortal being through this study of Tattva Bodha, through the study of Atma Bodha, and whatever else I study in future. It gives me an emotional cushion. Anytime I'm in sorrow, if by the practice of meditation, I can learn to find somewhere in me a peaceful place where I can rest. That acts like a shock absorber for facing the shocks of life which come to me unasked. Increase in efficiency by not having any disturbing thoughts. That is another benefit. I am not affected by time. What will happen to me when I am old? That is a big question for all of us. When I am Atma, this question gets dissolved. I am pure self. Today, I will be pure self. When I'm old, the body gets old. Well, I will face it when it comes. Let me not have too much anxiety about it and lose my peace today. Never get connected to the sorrow which belongs to the mind. This is a greatest benefit, if you ask me personally. Knowing Atma, the main benefit I get is I am not the mind. It is the mind where our joy and sorrow is felt. I create a distance between me and the mind. That is a tremendous benefit, and it is slowly learned. As I learn the scriptures more and more deeper, I create that distance, step by step, one step at a time. I learn a little bit more, and then this is the ultimate benefit. Mind, we can use it to replay. As a replay, that means like a tape recorder, we replay that old choices which we had, which is called as destiny. We record in the mind new impressions. By our self-effort, we say, I can change. As you sow, you shall reap. Actions in the past creates the future destiny. So each action gives the results according to the precise laws of the universe. Never doubt anything, any result coming to you. Anytime anything comes to you, by many of us may feel, how come I am enjoying life better than somebody else? This question many of us might have. Another, some may have, how come I am enjoying more sorrow than many people? I am a very good person. I have never done anything bad in my life. It is true. But the answer lies in the theory of karma. The theory of karma is a very, very big topic. As we learn more and more about our thought process, how the mind works, this theory of karma will become more and more clear. There is no accident in life. Children are born to us because that comes to us by law of karma. I am born in a family because of the karma. I am rich or poor because of karma. Tomorrow, I don't know whether I'll be healthy or unhealthy. Again, karma. Okay, the results are determined by action, not action alone. It is determined by time. It's determined by place. It is determined by the ability of the doer, the equipment of action, and the attitude by which we do the actions. We are not aware of all the components in life. The law of karma, the bestower of the law of karma is the Lord. He is a just person. There is no unjust, he is not unjust. There is a law which applies, and it goes very in precise fashion. Exactly like you have the gravitation force in the universe. You have how the stars move, how the sun rises exactly at the same time every day, how the rain falls. These are all the laws of action. How the fruit comes in a banana tree, how the fruit comes in a coconut tree, as per the sea. So these are all as per the laws. The vasanas, they prompt us to repeat an action. The vasanas, the impressions in our mind, they tell us to, they create desires after desires. They tell us to repeat an action. But we have a method to come out of all these actions. The result of action is temporary, but the result impression left behind in the mind is endless. It goes on for many births. Therefore, we feel bound, limited, or dependent, or sorrowful, or happy. The three universal desires in everyone's mind, which is, I want to live long, I want to know everything in life, I want to be happy permanently. Not only happy yesterday, not happy today, I want to be happy tomorrow. I want to be happy day after tomorrow. How do I remain happy all the time? That is a big question for all of us. We can be happy when we dissolve this ego in us into the timeless consciousness principle. The verse 9 of this Tattva Bodha, I repeat again in conclusion. I am not the three bodies, which is gross, subtle, causal. I am not the five koshas, Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, Anandamaya kosha. I am none of the koshas, the sheets which are covering the Atma. I am not the three states of the mind, the waking, dream, and sleep, which is an automatic process which happens in this universe. Very, very precisely. The day comes, the day ends. The three avasthas come and go. I have no control. I cannot say tomorrow morning, I don't want to have a dream tonight, or I don't want to say how the day will be tomorrow. Nobody has any control. All is determined by the law of karma. I have a free will. I will do my best, and I will learn about Atma. What is Atma? Objectless, pure awareness. It's called Sat Chit Ananda, my intrinsic nature. This is called my incidental nature. I cannot change my incidental nature. I can know about my intrinsic nature, which is what is my goal of spiritual study. I am that pure consciousness. I rise every day morning from my sleep state, from my slate, where I am pure awareness consciousness. I rise every day from that pure state of mind into this world of waking. I exist as awareness during the whole day when facing this waking state. Then in the evening it comes again, I resolve into that pure consciousness principle. That pure consciousness principle is non-dual. Non-dual means there is no second consciousness. It is only one, ekam. It is of the nature of Advaitam. Advaitam means there is no two in it. In it, it alone is. The whole world is an appearance. It comes and goes, But ultimately, the truth of this whole universe and the truth of me is one principle, which is called as pure awareness principle. I remain always peaceful, abiding in that awareness. If I know how to abide in that awareness, I am peaceful throughout the life. This is the study, this is the benefit of Tattva Bodha. A very beautiful text written by Shankaracharya. And with this, I conclude the text, the last topic today. And there was a question which was raised. So, my teaching of the Tattva Bodha text is over. There was one question which was asked in the WhatsApp: how to implement the learning of Tattva Bodha in our life? I want to answer this question before opening up the discussion for today's talk. I just thought of presenting this because it's an important thing. I've already explained this in my talk, but the main thing is how to implement the learning. Very practically, I must understand clearly. First, what is Atma, what is Anatma? Once I have understood in my own intellect, this is Atma, pure self, then I have to face the life of ups and downs. This life is helping me to grow in spirituality. So the first thing I should accept the fact is that I cannot run away from this life. I have to face it as it comes. Situations will come, situations will go away. There is nothing which remains permanent in this universe. It may last maybe for a few days, maybe for a few months, but it will go away. A contemplative student is one who can witness his mind. Witnessing the mind is the biggest strength of this spiritual study. It may not happen immediately, but it will happen gradually as we learn more and more. One can get tremendous benefits out of witnessing the mind. The defects of my own mind I become aware of. I take proper action. The frequency, intensity, and the reaction of the disturbances in my mind will come down. If I was getting irritated 10 times a day, it will slowly drop down to 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, and sometimes it will become 0 as we progress in the study. This is only if you're a contemplative student. Contemplative student is one who goes in his own mind, he goes through the teachings, what he has learned. Finally, the law of karma, once it is fully understood, then this can be understood. This law of karma can be understood when one starts noticing the thoughts in the mind. The law of karma has got a tremendous background towards the thoughts which come and go in our mind on a day-to-day basis. Why some thoughts come, why don't some other thoughts come? These are called as vasanas. And the more I become aware of these vasanas in me, the law of karma will become more diluted. It will still go on, but it will lose the significance to impact you. So these are the practical benefits of the study of Tattva Bodha. Before I end, I want to just announce that next week on next Saturday, we will start a new text called as Atma Bodha. 68 verses are there. I will try to cover 6 verses per session. 10 sessions, I will try to finish it. It will be no videos in the sessions. It will be just pure verses in my own words, and there will be a notes which will be circulated. I will follow the notes not as much as I would do like how Tattva Bodha was, but a little bit more faster, because it's an easy text and by way of a lot of examples. The second thing I want to explain to you is that next week 1 hour will be for Atma Bodha. The last half an hour will be for meditation. I will be introducing the topic of meditation for about 15 minutes, 15-20 minutes. I'll give you a brief introduction. This introduction is important because you will understand what I am going to do in meditation. This is a new type of meditation, exactly as per my teaching. I have to bring the thoughts which I have learned into my mind. So this is what I will explain from 6 to 7, Singapore timing. For 1 hour will be Atma Bodha, and it may not be 6 to 7, 5. So it could be maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. I will see how it goes. But half an hour will be devoted, say 6 to 6:45. 6:45 to 7:15 will be the meditation. After the meditation will be the question and answer session. And it will be 15 minutes of theory of meditation, about 10 minutes of the practice of meditation. Let us see how it goes. Then if you like it, we can continue the same every week. Then we'll see. For those of you who don't plan to attend the Atma Bodha sessions, my request to you is please come out of the group yourself. And then whenever you decide to come back into the group, you can always come back. I would like to thank all the people who have attended this Tattva Bodha course. And finally, I want to thank Jacqueline, who has been a backbone of this entire Tattva Bodha exercise. She is the one who initially thought of this course, and then she worked very hard to make this course available to most of you and circulate the notes, circulate the survey and everything. She has been a complete backbone to me for conducting this entire program for 5 weeks. And I hope you all have benefited to some extent. You may have got a glimpse of this teaching. And with that, I close and I open up for discussions. Anybody has any questions?
Can I ask the question?
Yes.
Yeah. You mentioned what I understand is that many actions that are done in this good impressions that get collected and there are sent to the Sanchita.
Yes.
So why does somewhere it says it's a results of action, good or bad, performed by a realized soul?
That is mentioned only for an agami, not for Sanchita at all. It is only for agami. Shankaracharya says that because he has done a great action of realizing himself.
Okay.
His Shankaracharya takes agami as only for the jnanis who have got liberated and who have become free.
Yeah, Ananda, no, is it Nayapoika?
Yes.
No, good at Takopoi, and Tines journal.
Can others please mute your mic? Only person who's asking the question, please unmute your mic.
Yeah, I just.
Okay, so I have other questions which I have here.
Sorry,
those of you see, some people say no need to say that you're going to join the class and have joined and so on, because that's it's assumed that you will come for the class. If you can't make it, it doesn't matter. So no need to put messages that I'm going to come today or I'm going to attend the sessions. There's a question from Ramesh which says, Vasana, the imprints within us that is manifested in thoughts in our waking state. How do we alter our vasanas? We cannot alter our vasanas. They are impressions which are there in the mind. That is what is called as the causal nature. The one way we can alter the vasanas is through the study of the scriptures, which says that when you study about your Atma, these vasanas can be burnt. This happens when we do meditation actually. and say that I am the Atma. When we do that, what happens is the impressions in the mind, they get burnt. You will understand this when we do the meditation exercises. I will explain this question a little bit more deeper when we do the meditation. Then there's one question. The present karmas come under which class? The present karmas are all prarabdha karmas.
Yes, sir. I got the answer. Yes, sir.
Yes. Then I understand that agami is after realization. That is after the dawn of knowledge, which I have explained now. Once a person who's realized he will not perform any karma, good or bad. No, that is not true. You see, prarabdha karma is there even for a jnani. After knowledge, he will still has to fulfill his prarabdha karma. He will go through sufferings in life even after knowledge. He might get cancer. He might get some problems in his body, but he will not be identified with them as himself. So others may see that he is suffering. So even a jnani has prarabdha karma. This prarabdha karma is like the arrow which is already shot from the bow. It cannot be stopped. The results of what he has to undergo in this birth will come to him. They will, others will see it as a result of his karma, and they will see that he's also suffering, he's also in pain. How come I see the jnanis, the sadhus, the swamis also, I see them suffering? Not that every swami is always cheerful. That's because he also has prarabdha karma to fulfill. There are certain actions which he will still do even after getting the knowledge. That is what the law of karma says. If he does this, he will not be liberated. No, that is not true. He is liberated because he is not attached to his body. He is not attached to the body and says that I am doing karma. He said the body is acting. So you and me can say the same, but our attachment comes again tomorrow morning. See, but he is able to distance himself. It comes as a result of more study of the scriptures. If all the experience is not me, then what is the objective of pure consciousness? Pure consciousness is always the illuminating principle which illuminates the mind every day for me. Through the mind, my sense organs gets illumined. Through the sense organs, the universe comes into my sense organs, and then this whole interactions take place because of the pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is like the sun. The sun is never involved in the good or bad actions done on the earth. So similarly, in every mind is a jiva. In that mind, whatever is the old and the new karmas which are coming, going, it is just thoughts after thoughts coming and going. But consciousness is never affected by it. That is what I learn when I study the scriptures. I am never affected by the actions which I do. But then you will say, can I do all bad actions then? No. You will not be able to do all the bad action because that is not in your prarabdha itself. Your prarabdha will not allow you. So the only thing I can do is learn to be witness of my mind. Learn to be the principle called as Atma. Slowly I will learn, no problem. It will come. First time I've just learned about this whole process, but my mind will take a little bit more time to assimilate this knowledge. If a person is liberated, can I understand that his past karma, which he has accumulated in crores of will also get burned? Yes, the scriptures are the only source of knowledge for this knowledge of the karmas being burned, karmas not being burned. The scriptures are the source of knowledge. There is no other source of knowledge for karma theory. Scriptures are telling me that I can burn these karmas by the knowledge of Atma. That's it. And people have got the benefit. I'm not the first one trying to understand as per the scriptures. And his karma account will become zero. There is no need for him to take any future birth. Yes, you're absolutely right. When the karmas are burned, there will be no birth again. which is what is called as videha mukti. That means there is no more body for him. He will come and go. He will, it's not that the jiva is gone. The jiva becomes Ishvara. Ishvara is the one who is in front of you the whole day. The Ishvara means what? It is the universe which is there. In the form of the universe, that soul which is realized, he becomes one with Ishvara. He always is. The universe is always there. It never dies. It has no death. Ishvara has no death. So he is in the form of the entire universe. He becomes the soul of the entire universe. He is one with the jiva. There's so many questions today, my God. Objective of pure consciousness is to be in bliss. Yes, you're right. Objective is to be in bliss. That means once I realize, then I am in that, I can live in that blissful attitude. Malati is asking, we have taken many births. Who decides when and how much karma? When we have to go through each birth? It is the bestower of karma phalam, which is God. You can call it God, you can call it the principle of karma. The one who bestows it is Ishvara. And he is always just. He will tell us, he will create a new body with a new environment for each one of us. And that is why he is called as karma phala data. He is the one who gives the results of action. Then, okay, then there's Raj and people are just, okay. Thank you very much to everybody. The time is up. It's 7:30 in Singapore. People have come from other parts of the also. So I would like to thank each and every one of you, and look forward to seeing you. If you're interested, you can come and join us again. And thank you very much, and good night, everybody. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Prarabdha karma is the destiny
Yes.
that you bring, right? Am I correct?
Yes, you're right. Yes.
Is the destiny.
Yes.
And the agami is the impressions that you create in this life now.
That's correct. What you are creating, and you're adding it in for the future.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
you're not going to have the fruit of the agami in this birth. It's going to be in the future birth.
So therefore, how do you destroy the prarabdha?
Okay,
How do the prarabdha cannot?
The prarabdha is destroyed by the prarabdha is not destroyed. You have to fulfill the prarabdha karma.
You can only make the choices.
Yes.
Those choices will lead to agami.
Yes, the choices will lead to no. You see, what happens is every day the prarabdha is coming for all of us.
Yes.
Now, in the morning, as soon as you get up, you have a choice to act only for the prarabdha.
Yes.
Now, you can, while acting, you are going to get a result of action.
Yes.
That is what is called as fructification of the phalam.
Okay.
In this birth.
Yeah. So the
so
free
slowly,
will.
whatever, suppose you had withdrawn $60 from that sanchita for this birth, that $60 will become 59, 58, 57. It will become 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Till the last day of your living in this birth, in this body, you will be performing action.
So I have understood. Agami, therefore, is really the deposit that goes in, and free will are the actions that I do, good, bad, and the results of these will become the agami.
Correct. And I think slowly it gets reduced.
And really the free will is the sanchita that finally, yeah, I understood. The destiny that I'm creating for tomorrow is the actions that I create for today.
Exactly, through my free will.
The ego I is really the Maya, right?
Yes,
the
it
Maya,
is ultimately, you see, ultimately it has to be understood as Maya.
And when we say the mind, we are saying that the Maya on the screen of mind creates the mind, body, and the universe construct, right?
The Maya in the screen of the mind is
not creating this whole mind, body, universe as objects.
Yes.
What is the screen of the mind? Well, how does the screen of the mind?
The screen of the mind, no. The screen of the mind is pure consciousness.
Screen of the mind is pure consciousness. Okay.
Yes. The film which is going on in the mind is the Maya.
Film is the Maya. Okay.
The film which is going every day, the new film is coming. You know, tomorrow morning you're a different person. You know, you will start acting for different situations in life.
Understood. So what you're saying
that is the film which is coming every day, new film, new episode is coming every day.
The drama of life, right?
Yes.
So what you're saying is that when we say that this mind, body, and this universe appears in consciousness, it appears in the screen of the mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is not the mind; it is in the screen of the mind,
which is illuminated, self-effulgent by the
yes, correct. It is being illumined by the consciousness, which is me, the final goal.
Yes.
Which is beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond the universe.
Yes. So essentially, sanchita, the sum total of all prarabdha, is the fistful of rice that you bring in onto this as a destiny, and kami, the end of the time, little final bad.
Yes, you are right. You have understood correctly, Deepak.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I've understood. I was very confused on the screen. And I think you explained to me very well. The screen of mind is really the consciousness in which the film appears, which the daily.
Yes. Once you have understood that I am the consciousness principle, all this is just appearing and going, appearing and disappearing, then you are free from, then you can understand this whole Maya.
Yeah. So the Ishvara is also
is a part of Maya. Is a part of Maya.
So Brahman does not create.
It does not create.
Brahman is.
As is. Brahman is only as is always there. It is never dies. It never is born.
So how was this world created?
The world is not created. It is only manifest, unmanifest. Manifest, unmanifest.
Eminent. Manifest and eminent is consciousness. And
yes.
As Maya, this is mind, body, and universe, and transcendental is as Brahman. Is that what it is?
No. You see, consciousness is immanent. Immanent means it is always there. Whenever the universe is there, it is always there.
Okay.
That is what is called as immanent principle.
Consciousness is
always there in the universe as the immanent principle. That means it is the material cause of the universe.
Yes, material cause of the universe.
Yes, the whole universe, without consciousness, there is no universe. That's a fundamental you should always remember.
So, universe is
that big I we are talking about, you know, last week you talked about the big I.
Yes.
The big I is the consciousness. Without consciousness, there is no universe.
Yeah.
That is what is the first thing you should start from.
Yes.
That is what we are in our sleep state.
Yes.
And then in the morning, what happens is the mind is woken up.
Yes, I've understood that.
Yeah, as soon as the mind is woken up, then the entire principle of you see, the transcendental principle is when I am sleeping, I am beyond the body, mind, and universe. That is what is called as transcendent.
Yeah. The Brahman manifests in this as mind, body, and universe, right?
Yes, you're right.
That's what I'm saying.
And then it becomes unmanifest in sleep.
it becomes unmanifested in state. Transcendental, when does it? Transcendental is always there.
Yeah, transcendent is always that. You see, immanent form becomes manifest and unmanifest.
Yes, immanent forms become manifest and unmanifest.
Yes.
So I've understood. So in the waker and the waking world, dreamer and the dream world, and deep sleep and the absolute void or whatever it is.
Yes.
In each of these worlds, the consciousness is immanent.
Yes.
And
in all the three states, the consciousness is always there. That is why we say it is eternal.
Is eternal.
And I hold on to that eternal principle as me. That's all.
So, yeah. So when we say manifest, what do we mean by manifest? That this consciousness is manifest in waking world, dream world, and deep sleep world also?
Yes,
immanent
that's correct. Yes. You see,
immanent and manifest. Right.
Yeah, immanent and transcendental are the nature of Atma.
Immanent and transcendental. Okay.
These are just two terms which is just trying to tell us. You see, these are two terms for me to help to understand what is Atma. That's all.
Okay, I've understood. So immanent and transcendental is the nature of Atma, and immanent and manifested is this world and mind and body.
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You will get more clarity the moment you start, getting into the meditation sessions. You will start seeing the reality in this. What we are learning by way of knowledge.
Yes.
You will be able to see it in your own mind.
Yes.
That's what I want to get to that stage of trying to do some meditation where you can see how all this is happening.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Very much, and I hope your questions are cleared. And anyway, the questions will keep coming. Don't worry.
Actually, what is happening is that I've just got into Tattva Bodha at the very end. So I've done 2-3 classes, but I've got a gist of it. And now I'm going to do self-study.
Yeah, do self-study of Tattva Bodha. You can easily follow.
Yeah. So I will do this. By 16th, I would have finished Tattva Bodha to be ready for Atma Bodha.
Yeah,
so
and always you keep in writing in one place. You just write down the verse number 9 and keep it handy all the time.
Verse number 9 for Tattva Bodha, right?
Yes, keep that. Write it in your own hand, either in Sanskrit or in English. Just keep it. Whenever you are in doubt about Atma, always use this and try to redress your problems.
Yes.
Always use this definition. This is the central verse, not only for Tattva Bodha, it is for entire life of spiritual study.
Just 1 minute more. I know it's getting late, and I'm sure the Abrahamic religions talk about creation of this world.
Yes.
And our Vedic literature talks about this immanent and manifested world.
Yes.
So, immanent and manifest means that the creator himself manifested as this whole thing.
Yes.
Is it the same? Isn't it a play of words?
It's just a play of words, nothing else.
Yeah, I just feel so.
Yeah. Once you understand this Vedanta, then you will be able to follow all other religions very easily.
No, I absolutely agree with you. In fact, whether
it is Buddhism, whether it is Christianity, whether it is, all the religions are ultimately talking about the same one principle, which is Atma. One message. There is nothing else in this world except this one. That's it. That's what everybody wants to convey, but then they have different ways of conveying it. So the best is focus on one study. Study this Atma clearly, let it sink into your mind, then you go and study the other texts. You will be able to get very good clarity on all other texts.
How do I lighten the pradap karma? I mean, when I face the difficulties of life, I understand what you're saying, that the choices that you make by recognizing the I principle, the consciousness. But there's no other way. By good deeds, I guess. Good deeds is the only.
Yes, you keep on doing good deeds. You keep on doing japa. You keep on doing whatever benefits you think you can do. See, each one has a tendency.
Yes.
Of doing good things in life. You may be good at serving somebody. You may be good at teaching something. You may be good at so many different ways you may be good at. You just find out what am I good at, and let me do that. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaskar.
And good night to everybody. There are a lot of people still listening to this. There are 12 people still listening.
I'm so sorry to have.
No, it's good. It's good. I think there's been a very good participation from the whole group. And thank you and good night.
Good night.
Good night, sir. Good night, sir.